Hello everyone, this is Daniel. In the last session, I introduced the JMeter GUI and the common JMeter issues. Today, let's start the first project. Okay, firstly, let's create a script step by step. Then we run the script with different scenarios. Okay, as you can see, we have a script here and there are lots of elements. So let's create them together. The first, we create a config element like a cache manager, cookie manager, header manager, and user-defined variables. Okay, cache manager is used to add a caching functionality to HTTP request within its scope to simulate browser cache feature. So it's totally the same mechanism as browser. And the cookie manager, first it stores and sends cookies just like a web browser. If you have an HTTP request and the response contains a cookie, the cookie manager automatically stores that cookie and it will use it for all future requests to that particular website. Second, you can manually add a cookie to the cookie manager. Generally, we don't need to add a cookie. We just add a cookie manager here, so it will automatically save the cookie by JMeter itself. Okay. And the header manager lets you add or overwrite HTTP request headers. So if we add HTTP header manager here, so it will control the overall request. It will add header to all the requests. If you have add a HTTP header manager and the specified HTTP request, this one will overwrite the specified one. Okay, let's continue. Let's add a setup thread group and tear down thread group. Also, we need a main thread group, and the setup thread group will run before the main thread group, and the tear down thread group will run after the main thread group. Okay, that's how they work. And then we add some listeners. Just like summary report and view result tree. Also, we have two plugins listeners, like this one, active threads over time, and response times over time. Okay, we have all first level elements. Then we start to create child elements. So under the setup thread group, we need a sampler to create the master data. So let's just create it. This time we use a dummy sampler. So dummy sampler is not like a HTTP sampler, it's not a real sampler. It's mainly used for debug. So we can rename it setup create master data. Okay, and we need a tear down thread group, and this one mainly used to delete master data. Also, we use dummy sampler. Just rename it. Okay, and under the main thread group, we have a constant timer and two if controller, one loop controller, and one transaction controller. So let's create it quickly. If controller and loop controller, transaction controller. Also, we have a constant timer. We put it here, and we have two if controllers, so we just duplicate it. Also, we have a debug sampler. Okay, that's all we have. So let's start to add some request under the controller. So under if controller, we need a dummy sampler, so we can copy this one here. Then we get it. Then we just rename it. In the second if controller, we need to visit our JMeter official site. So we just add a HTTP request and rename it if open JMeter official site home page. Okay, this is JMeter official site. So what we need is this one URL. Let's copy it and try to paste here. Okay, seems the paste doesn't work. So that's the JMeter long issue. So we just switch to the system, look and feel. Okay, it works. So if you encounter this kind of issue, you just switch the look and feel to the system, or you can try other thing. Okay, let's just zoom in the window. Okay, we have so what we need here is the server name, what we call host name. So we just remove the protocol HTTPS and put it here, HTTPS, and the port number is 443. Pass, we don't have pass, so we don't need it. And the name for the loop controller, we need another HTTP request. And this one, we used to visit our license page, loop open JMeter license page. So we need the license page server name. This one is license page, just click it. Then we get a URL, just copy it. Okay. So what we need, so the path under the host name, we need to put path under the path area. Okay. Also, we need HTTPS port number 443. Okay, that's it. And we need to add a HTTP header manager. Header manager. So you can see we have a two header manager. This one is central control, and this one is for the specified request. So if we add some header here, this one will override the value that's defined in this one. Okay. Then in the transaction controller, we need to visit our JMeter user manual page. So we can create open JMeter user manual page. Also, we need host name. Just copy it. We also need to visit get started page. So user manual get started page. So this one is get started. This one is user manual. We just create it and copy the URL. This one is user manual. Okay, just do the same. Remove it. And this is a path. We should put it here. And HTTPS 443. Okay, and the user manual. User manual, this one, just click it. Sorry. user menu, get started. Okay, we need to get started. Just copy it. Get started. Just put it here. HTTPS 443. Okay, that's it. Then we add a header manager. We can just copy it. Let me get it. Okay, we have all the elements which we need in the script. Okay, and then we add variables for the host name and homepage tag and do the replacement. What does it mean? Let me show you. So let's just run it. Okay, we get an error. Let's check what happened here. Number of winning samples, the message. No data to display. Okay, we have two if controller, but we give nothing here. So it pop up error. So we can give it a true. Give it a true. So what is if controller? We just need to give some conditions here. If the value of the condition is true, then the following request will be executed. If not, it do nothing. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, we got it. Transaction controller, there's some errors. Let me check. Okay, we should remove this one because this is the path. Okay, no errors. Then, so you can find we have create a master data is a dummy sampler. Looks fine. Then we have Open JMeter official site. So this is the host name where we put here, right? So we get it, and the following request is open the license page. This is the host name. Also, we have open menu page. This is the host name, and this one you can see is the same host name. So we need to add some variable to replace the static value. That will be easier to manage all the script. So let's do it. So we can add a host name, and the host name is this one, right? Just to give a value. Then we can use the search function. Just click search. We can search. We can find the host name in the following elements. Just search all. So we get this one. We have a host. We have this kind of host. So we can use the variables to replace it. But for the variable, we should use we should call it like this way. Okay, host name. We just this is the host name. We just click replace all. Okay, it's replaced. Okay, that's a fast way to do the correlation. Then we have another host, right? Like this one. So we can add another host. Just add it. License. Okay, just do it again. First, we need to search. Okay, only one. We can use a variable. This one. Then we just replace. Okay, got it. Also, I want to control this one. This is to visit our JMeter official site. So we want to add a tag to control. This is true. So we can add a tag, post page tag. We give it false and copy. So we can. So when we run the script, this variable will give false. So the request will not be executed. So let's just check it. So you can see in the previous run, we have two if, create mass data and visit JMeter official site. But in this round, we only have one if. So that means this one is not executed, right? Then we change it back to true and run it again. Okay, we got two ifs here. Okay, that's how if controller works. Let's run thread group with two threads and two loops and give the thread group two threads, two loop. Then we run it again. So we have a summary report. We can check the main KPIs under the summary report. We just run it. And in the following session, I'll show you what exactly these KPIs are. Okay, as you can see, for the setup, thread group is executed before the main thread group, and for the teardown thread group, is executed after the main thread group. That's what we expected. And for the create master data, we get 4 samplers. Yeah, that's expected because we have 2 threads and 2 loops, correct? And for the debug sampler, we have 4 samplers. That's also expected. But for the rest of the elements, we get only 2 samplers. That's not expected. That's relevant to this option, clear cache each iteration. Let's just check it. Then we run it again. Okay, as you can see, we got all 4 samplers for all these elements, right? That's relevant to the cache manager. As you know, HTTP cache manager is used to add caching functionality to HTTP request and simulate browser cache. So when the JMeter identify, we send just the same request and we already have all the content locally, so JMeter will not send the request to the backend server. So if we check this option, clear cache, so for each iteration, for each loop, JMeter identify is a totally new request. It will clear all the data locally. So we just trigger the request as a new request. Okay, that's how Cache Manager works. And in the view result tree, we get all the request data and the response data. You can see here. Let's take this one as example. First, we have a sampler result like the thread name and our timestamp, our load time, connection time, and latency time. In the following session, I'll explain the main difference between these KPIs, and also we have the size and the following informations here. In the request, that's what JMeter send out. This is our host name, our path, and if we have some specified data, it will show here also. If we have cookie, the cookie data will show here. Also, we have a response data. This is the response data. This is the body that is sent back from the backend server. Also, we have a response headers here. And those headers are added by JMeter automatically. And for the request, we also have the request header here. Also, we can change the view to HTTP view, so that would be more clear for the end user. So we check execution sequence and the view result tree and the boundary extractor tester. Okay, we have a usable feature here. we can switch in the view result tree, we can switch the text to the boundary extractor tester. Then we can filter some keyword like if I want to get all the value of these params, so we can just give a name, name, and the content, and we just test. Then we get this view report and this MS application. So we have 4 matches. That's mainly used for debug. And we can check debug sampler. So in the debug sampler, we can get a view result tree, this one. So from the, we can change back to text. From the response data, we have all the variables information here, like host name, we get value, like the host page tag, we got true. That's where we defined here, right? So for debug, we can use the debug sampler to check if the value of each variable is expected. We can disable HTTP header manager. Okay. We can add a header manager here, just like a content type, and the value is text HTML. Okay, we add it, then we can write okay, we just open the request headers. We can see there is a content type. Okay, this one is what I added in the header manager, right? You can see all the requests. We have this header, right? Okay, if I remove it, just disable it, and we run it again. Okay, so the content type has been removed from the request. But if we add this one, add the header to the specified request like this one, we just add it. Enable it. We can add a view result tree here. So let's run it again. So we have a request header content type, right? But for the other request, like this one, we don't have the content type. So this header is specified for this request. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, let's talk about the loop controller. So we just give the loop count 2. That means each request under the loop controller will run 2 times for each thread. So we have a 2 thread group, and the overall thread group will loop 2 times. So in total, we can see how many loops. So you can see we have this loop request, we get samplers 8. Yeah, that's expected because we have 2 threads and 2 overall loops and 2 loops for the specified request. So in total we have 8 samplers. Yeah, that's correct. Try to check if generate parent sampler. Okay, this one. You can see we have a transaction controller here. Under this transaction controller, we have 2 requests. user manual page and get started page. We have these two requests here, right? And we have a transaction controller. This is you can take it as a summary of these two requests. And if we check this checkbox, generate parent sample. So let's run it again. Okay, so in the summary report, you can only find the transaction controller. You don't find the child elements in the summary report. Yeah, that's the main difference. And but you can find the details under the view result tree. This is the transaction controller. We just expand it. We have these two child elements report. Okay. Okay, check request data, response data, and headers. That's what I already explained. And check each listener. Now we have a summary report. We have a view result tree. Also, we have two plugins listeners here. And in the following session, I'll guide you how to install these plugins from Plugins Manager. This one is active threads over time, and the x-axis is our elapsed time, and the y-axis is our number of active threads. So we have two threads here for the main thread group, like this one. Yeah, that's what we set here, right? And for the setup and teardown thread, we only have one thread. Yeah, that's expected. So we have an overview picture of how the performance is over time. And the response time show you the performance for each request over time. And also we can filter the row here, like we just uncheck everything. Okay, it doesn't work. So we can, I just want to check this one. So we just click it. So we only have this request. Okay, that's it. That's a demo of the script with different scenarios. Next, we have this script and I upload it to the GitHub repo you can download for free. How do I know the request I created in JMeter is correct or not? Usually we do it like this way. Let me show you right now. We can open Chrome or Firefox. We just open the inspect, go to the network, and we just trigger the request. Then we can capture all the information here. We have a headers information. The general area will show you all the requested information like the URL, the path. Also, we get a status code, and we have a response headers, request headers. The preview page will show you the content that server sent back, and the response will show you all the HTML data from the backend servers. Okay, so you can map this information to the JMeter, like JMeter request body, request headers. Okay, next session I'm going to elaborate the JMeter main KPIs. Then you know exactly what the performance is. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.